Hello, this is Ronald Bird coming to you from Style Speaks with another episode here in the Washington metropolitan area, downtown Union Station to be exact, on a beautiful sunny day. I have a beautiful young lady here willing to talk to us and share some of her spirit and some of her wisdom with us today. Singer, songwriter, performer, Miss RonaRawls. Hello, Rona.
Hey, how you doing?
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Welcome. Thank you for talking with us today.
No problem.
Great, great, great. Where are you from?
Well, originally born in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, but raised in Washington, D.C.
Country girl.
I'm a country girl, but not really a country girl.
She's not claiming it. She's not claiming it. Oh, y'all know, okay.
So, yeah, raised here, currently living in Southeast D.C.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, how long have you been in this area?
Yeah, you're going to make me tell my age.
Well, you ain't got to tell your age.
For a long time.
Oh.
A very long time. So I am from DC.
Okay, I see what kind of interview we gonna have today. We gonna have to do this. We got to do this. So I noticed you're a singer, songwriter. So what made you get started in the when did you realize that you had a talent to sing and you wanted to sing? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, singing and songwriting kind of come natural to me. I actually come from a musical family.
Great.
Like all my aunts, my uncles, my sister, brother, everybody's singing.
Okay.
So, we...
Well, I noticed your last name is Rawls. Any connection, any kin to the late, great Mr. Lou Rawls?
I wish.
Okay.
But
No.
I'm sure that would have got me farther along in the game, but no, not.
Great entertainer. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
But my father, God rest his soul, was a musician and performed around the city as well. Same thing I'm doing. So I got my musical side from him, and then my mother's a writer. So she writes grants and proposals and poetry. So I think I got a good mixture of both of the strengths from them. So it just comes natural.
Okay, well, when did you find out, or when did you figure out that this was something that you wanted to pursue? I mean, a lot of people have gifts and talents to sing and songwrite, but does something with talent. What made you decide that this was something you wanted to really do and put into fruition?
Well, for me, I think it really comes to passion. Like, what are you passionate about? And so it was already a natural thing, but it's always been a driving force. It's always been, music and around, but I don't know. To say when it started, I can't really pinpoint it, but it's just something that's always been ingrained and that's been me. That's like my core, my DNA.
Okay.
So I can't, to ask me when did it start, it never really, I guess from birth, because it's just a passion of mine. It's something that...
Well, I guess more specifically, when did you decide that you wanted to pursue it professionally? When did somebody say, girl, you can sing and we're going to pay you some money to sing?
Well, okay, maybe a better bit of, maybe over 10 years ago, I started doing a lot of recording at several different studios in the area. But performing, it kind of like, I don't know how to pinpoint because it's something that I've always done.
Okay,
So, I've been in a few bands, but I don't know.
Okay.
I got taken seriously a little over about 10 years ago.
Okay, that's some time to craft your... Well, you do some performing too, some theater and stuff like that?
I do mostly live performances, so you can catch me every third Thursday at Bohemian Caverns. I do a live.
Okay, we're going to give you some time to plug that later on. You're kind of rushing the game right now. Just trying to get on. Okay, wait a minute now. I got some...
I've done plays in the past, but more so live performances, like in bands and recording.
Okay. You seem like somebody that would really be good as an actress as well. I mean, you just have that persona about yourself, so I'm sure that may be up to, that may be an option.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Come see me. I'll give you my call. Maybe I can be your agent. Okay. Well, in getting to the whole style and fashion piece, I see you dressed really nice today. Maybe our man could, my man Michael can back up and pan you real quick, sew my slacks and my shoes too. But I'll put on slacks for you today.
You look very
Well, thank you. I usually wear jeans. I try to look nice, but I usually just kind of put jeans on. but today is Women in, actually this month is Women in History Month.
Right.
And that's why I wanted to start the segment out with you, because people, we always talking to guys, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to feature some ladies, and you were
I do
my
appreciate
select lady.
Thank you.
Well, I wanted to ask you too, getting back to the whole style and fashion piece, how does that play into what you do? Have you always been one of these people that were concerned about, I guess everyone's kind of concerned about how they look, but some people more than others, where style and fashion was something that was going to play a role in whatever it is you decided to do? And how was any early influences on you to kind of be hot?
Well, I know as a performer, the first impression is always the best impression. So if you're a performer, you always want to look the part. So you always want to make sure everything's in place, your makeup's done, and it depends on the occasion you're performing for too. Like, for instance, if I'm doing a Kennedy Center event, I'm going to dress,
Appropriately.
If I'm doing just a concert, like I'm a neo soul artist, so
okay.
That's more for me, bohemian, like urban bohemian.
Okay.
But I don't know. That goes back to your parents, and they instilling you mannerisms,
right.
So you always have to look the part, because the first impression is the best impression.
Well, how do you, more specifically, how do you determine, or how do you define your own individual style? And I guess what I want you to say or speak to maybe some influences that you see. We all kind of get certain dynamics from our family, from our mom, our dad, our uncle, our grandmother. My grandmother was a real influence to me. She was very much into that whole first impression piece and all that. But we all kind of develop into our own individual styles.
Right.
And so how would you classify your own individual style, and how important and relevant is that to you? Or if it is or not?
Well, my own individual style, I don't really delve really deeply into like fashion and all of that. I feel like the clothes don't make the person. It's who the inside is.
I respect that.
But if I had to categorize it, I would categorize my style as urban bohemian.
Okay.
I like the hippie look. I like the 70s look, but I like to, wear current.
Okay, she get ready to tell her age now. We get ready to do some number calculations now.
But
she went back to the 70s.
As old soul, okay? And I am an old soul.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's interesting, because as I speak to people, I always kind of want to know kind of where or how they perceive. I think it's very interesting to find out how people perceive what their overall look is. People kind of say, well, I like the way you dressed or whatever, but if you were to define it, and you just did, you defined that. Well, basically, to bring attention to fashion and style in DC, if there's something that you're not, you wouldn't consider yourself a fashionista in the sense that you're a slave to trends and following this and following that, but how important is it? And obviously it's of some interest to you because you look really, really nice and you are a performer, so that's a part of what you do. But as far as DC on the map, where do you place DC as a place to be, or do you find that people are very fashion forward and fashion conscious here in the city?
Well, in terms of...
Take that.
In terms of fashion and being on like a broad scale, I don't really think that we compare with a lot of the, markets, like the New York market or the California market, or even overseas. I do think that we are a very eclectic city. So, you have like the corporates, they wear the suits and the ties and whatnot. But then you have, the music scene where you can just be free. You can look like a punk rocker. You can look like whoever you want. It's kind of free here.
Okay.
It's kind of a mixture of a melting pot of sorts of all different kinds of styles. So I think in that sense we're very unique.
Okay.
But I don't think we really compare with other markets.
Interesting perception. You'd be surprised at what people think. A lot of people rate DC pretty high up as I speak to people on the streets of DC, and a lot of people don't really think that we compare at all. And that was a really good answer about the whole eclectic piece, and you have different, the conservative versus the not so conservative and the
Right.
casual, things like that. But well, how would you like to see? Do you look at people in your travels and say, well, you know, people kind of dress really nice here, or I mean, even though it's eclectic, but do you find that the city is fashion conscious?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I think people, you know, like to look good. I see a lot of cool things roaming about, and I think we are very conscious about how we look.
Okay.
I
Do you
really
think
like
that's important?
I mean, it's only as important as you make it.
Okay.
You know, because you know, to me, clothes don't define the person. You know, you have to really talk to them, feel their spirit, and you know, see what they're working with, and then, you know, if they look good on top of that.
Okay.
Then, all
And
right,
that's the bonus.
Yeah.
Well, tell me, who are some of your early influences? I guess musically, and even as far as style, or who do you kind of project yourself or kind of compare yourself to? I'm curious to find out who you look at, or who has been, even in the past, or maybe even today.
In terms of, well, musically speaking, I love old school. Billy Joel is one of my favorite musicians.
Definitely singer-songwriter, yeah.
Singer-songwriter. Phoebe Snow, Whitney, Shaka, like all the Stevie, all the soul singers. And so, you know, they have definitely influenced my music. But in terms of style, I guess the if I can pinpoint somebody, maybe my aunt. My aunt was always so cool and hip and sexy, and you know, so I look to her like coming up as somebody who, you know, fashion-wise, I looked up to. But now more so, I don't know. I mean, I wear my hair natural, so I'm very much into, you know,
that whole natural. That's wonderful. You look great too.
Thank you.
Well, that is so cool. Well, thank you so much. I think I'm going to take up all the time I'm going to take and let you go do what you have to do. Well, thank you, Miss Rawls, for talking to me today. I really appreciate it. Mwah. And this has been another edition of Style Speaks. We'll see you next time.